এটা আগে সেমের সিলেবাস, তাই তো? আচ্ছা, তোমাদেরকে এই বইটা শেয়ার করেছিলাম, তোমরা দেখেছো এটা? রাজকুমার বইয়ার এই বইটা।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, এটা শেয়ার করেছিলেন।
আচ্ছা, এটা আপাতত তোমাদের ফার্স্ট চ্যাপ্টারটা থাকছে ইন্ট্রোডাকশন, মানে ক্লাউড কম্পিউটিং, আর এই ফার্স্ট চ্যাপ্টার, সেকেন্ড ভার্চুয়ালাইজেশন, ক্লাউড কম্পিউটিং আর্কিটেকচার। ঠিক আছে, এই ইন্ট্রোডাকশন মডিউল একটা আছে। এই ইন্ট্রোডাকশন মডিউলটা তোমাদের আপাতত মিড সেমের জন্য থাকছে। ঠিক আছে, আর ইন্ট্রোডাকশনের সাথে তোমাদের একটা পার্ট থাকবে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে ওয়েব সার্ভিস। ওয়েব সার্ভিসটা বেসিক জায়গাটা ডিসকাস করা হয়েছিল, তো ওয়েব সার্ভিসটা থাকবে। ঠিক
স্যার
আছে,
only the introduction part module of that foundation chapter?
হ্যাঁ, না,
আচ্ছা,
এটা নয়, মানে এই ফাউন্ডেশনের এই পার্টটা থাকছে, ইন্ট্রোডাকশন প্রিন্সিপাল অফ প্যারালাল ডিস্ট্রিবিউটেড কম্পিউটিং, মানে ফাউন্ডেশন মডিউলটা পুরো থাকছে ক্লাউড কম্পিউটিং
ওকে স্যার।
আর্কিটেকচার। ঠিক আছে, এই জায়গাটা।
Sir, this is for final semester, क्या 8th semester?
No, for final semester some more modules will be added. Only foundation, তোমরা ওয়েব সার্ভিস যদি বাদও দাও, only foundation this module you have to cover in midterm exam. Architecture, virtualization, principles of distributed computing, and introduction, this module. আর কিছু জানতে চাইছো সিলেবাস?
And
হ্যাঁ,
I mean স্যার, এই কিরকম ধরনের কোয়েশ্চেন্স একটু এক্সপেক্ট করতে পারি, সেটা যদি কয়েকটা একটা দুটো এক্সাম্পল একটু দেন।
দেখো, এক্সাম্পল বলতে ধরো ক্লাউড কম্পিউটিং এর আর্কিটেকচার থেকে তোমাকে হয়তো বলা হলো যে ইউক্যালিপটাসের আর্কিটেকচারটাকে ডিসকাস করো। ঠিক আছে, মানে ইউক্যালিপটাসের আর্কিটেকচার বলতে যেটা করিয়েছিলাম, যে তোমার ডিফারেন্ট যে মডিউল থাকছে, ক্লাউড কন্ট্রোলার, ক্লাস্টার কন্ট্রোলার, ওয়ালরাশ, দেন we have storage controller. So this modules a basic discussion, like for each you have to draw the diagram, you have
Sir,
to.
this is for BTech 8th semester also.
Hmm. Yeah.
So when we have our mid-sem, sir, can you please tell date?
No, I have not been informed till now from AKCSIT.
Okay, sir. So this is not for 8th semester, I guess.
No, for you, your exam will not be conducted before 4th. Okay, as the date will be different, obviously question paper will be different. So when I will get this information, then the question paper will be prepared accordingly. So at this moment you may think that this is the module which will be covered in your midterm for IT department also.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank
but
you.
the question paper will be obviously different because the dates are different. Okay, so something like basically this paper is mostly theoretical paper. If you have lab, then we can show you some code, how the things are happening in the background, but this is the mostly it's a theoretical paper at this moment. But if you have any plan that you will work on this domain in future, then you have to write some code. Yes. আচ্ছা, ধরো ইউক্যালিপটাসের আর্কিটেকচার থাকতে পারে ডিফারেন্ট মানে ফর ইচ অ্যান্ড এভরি পয়েন্ট লাইক if it's a walrus you have to write 3 to 4 lines for walrus so you have to draw the diagram you have to depict the picture describing each and every module. So in virtualization there can be some question like what are the different types of virtualization. You may also ask that what do you understand by para virtualization, okay, or what is the difference between hardware virtualization and operating system virtualization. So this type of questions will be given. Okay, if you go through কিছু বলবেন কেউ? Okay, মানে
Sir, sir, whenever there will be our mid-sem exam, please inform us 2-3 days before so that we will prepare in a much better way.
basically the dates are being informed by the department. I think in your department what happens, whether a routine is being published or exam routine, or it will be just I can take the exam at any time.
I think, sir, a broad timeline will be given. So, like when we had offline classes, then we had a fixed routine. But in online, all of the midterms have been pretty much the teachers announce more of a week-long time within which it's up to the individual subject teachers to select when they are going to take their exam.
Okay, then I will talk to Shomo sir today and I will let you inform.
Okay, sir.
So okay, anyone can you share your screen? I want to show you how to configure your system so that you can write your some demo code at least. Anyone can share your screen? If you have Eclipse it will be better, otherwise it will take some time to install it and configure it. In my machine already the modules are installed, so that's why it will be a little bit difficult, because when I will try to install it then it will.
So can we do it using VS Code?
It will be difficult to configure in VS Code at this moment, so if you can install Eclipse it will be better. The plugins are already available there. Anyone can you share your screen? কেউ আছো কি, মানে দেবজিতা শ্রেয়ান কেউ আছো?
Sir, আমি ইনস্টল করছি বাট अराउंड 5-10 মিনিট তো লাগবে।
হ্যাঁ তুমি ইনস্টল করো, তুমি স্ক্রিনটা শেয়ার করো, আমি বলে দিচ্ছি। আমি স্ক্রিন স্টপ শেয়ারিং করছি, তুমি স্ক্রিনটা শেয়ার করো। Your screen is visible. You're downloading Eclipse. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Which one? Is it JE version or
I went to the Eclipse website and downloaded the latest version of their IDE.
no, ID of which one? JE or only Java support or which one?
Let me just check once. Mm, yeah, Eclipse IDE 2021-03.
No. Go to download packages. Just below the download button. Go to this. You have to install Java Enterprise. Eclipse IDE for Enterprise Java and web developers. So
Okay.
you can just download it from Windows. Yeah. Download the zip file. Okay, you can follow these steps to configure this. Uh, the size is little bit larger, so
Yes, sir.
let it be download. So in the meanwhile, we can discuss two things. Okay, so basically, if we want to use Amazon or Google Cloud environment, there is a plugin. So you have to install that plugin so that we can develop any application. Okay, so in the meanwhile, I will show you. So I'm sharing my screen. So after downloading it, you can just inform me. I think Java is already installed in your machine. JDK.
Yes, sir. JDK and JDK JRE both are in.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So there I have discussed RMI with you. RMI, remote method invocation.
Yes, sir. RMI and RPC.
Okay, so I have shown the code for RMI.
No, sir. Only the theoretical discussion.
Okay. Okay, let me show you that. I'm just going through this in very short. Okay. It will be a very brief discussion. So you know that in Java there is a concept of interface. So can you give me any real life example that where interface is required? Like if I just create an application, let me create an application. I'm creating a simple Java application and let's test. In this application, we know that an interface can be implemented by a class. Okay, so I'm creating an interface. Say this is test interface. So this interface contains a method. Just the method name is print some message. Okay, so I'm creating a method public void. So the method name is print. Okay, so I have defined one interface which contains only one method. So you may define the interface according to your requirement. Now this interface needs to be implemented by some class, otherwise there is no use of this interface. So if I define a class, test class, now this test class is going to implement, it will implement the interface, it will implement test interface. So if this class implements test interface, obviously either I have to add the unimplemented method, or we can declare the class as abstract class. So here just I am writing one message, hello world, nothing else. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now I am going to define another class from which I will create an object of this test class. So say I have another class test main which contains. So here I can create an object of the test class. So say this. And I am going to call the method t.print. So here I am going to print it. Now we can run this program. So from test main we can create an object of test class, and this test class is implementing test interface. Now my question is, if I remove this interface, I'm just going to remove this interface, and from test class I'll just remove this line. Okay, so from test class I'm going to remove this line, and I'm going to delete this test interface. Whether the behavior of the program will be different? The behavior of the program will remain same. There is no difference. So from test main we are using this test class, we are creating object, we are calling its methods. But if I remove the test interface, there is no difference, because in interface we have declared a method, nothing else, and that method needs to be implemented in those classes where we are implementing that interface. So as a developer I can say that why I am going to write this interface. If I don't write this interface in my program, then rest of the part will remain same. There is no behavioral change. Okay, because in interface you are not able to define a method, though from Java 1.8 onwards there is a different concept, but in traditional way, so if we consider Java 1.8 up to 1.7 or 1.8, so if we can't define a method within an interface. So within an interface we can declare the method, but those methods are not usable until we define it in classes. So when we will define it in test class, then it will be accessible. Okay, so if the method is defined in test class, then why shall I write interface? Do you have this query in your mind when you have learned Java? Then why interfaces are required? The same thing can be done without interface. So why interfaces are required?
So interfaces are basically required to put all the common methods in an interface, so that we can so that every class can implement that common methods. So it is just to put all the common methods, to just declare that common method in an interface, and respective classes will implement that particular methods.
Okay, so if you don't write that interface, and okay, think the scenario. You have written an interface or you have some common methods, but methods are only declared, not defined. The methods are being defined in subclasses on classes where this interface is being implemented. Okay, now if I remove the interface, and from every class where this interface is being implemented, I am just removing that part implements that interface name. I am removing that part, but the things are same. Is there any difference? the common methods are being written in interface. Yeah, sure. But if I don't write it in interface, then the same thing can be done when you are defining the classes, because if you can define a method in interface, if it is being implemented by the classes, then there will be some use that in an interface we have defined one thing and that thing is available in every class. But in every class where you are implementing this interface, you have to define the method. So am I able to present it properly?
Yes, sir. So to ensure that all the classes that implement these interface should
Yeah.
define all these, should use all these, define all these functions that are given in the interface.
So we can create an interface or some methods are being enlisted which must be implemented by the classes where the interface is being implemented. So it should be defined. All the methods must be defined in the classes. This is one thing. Anything else? Obviously, this is a
Sir, interfaces can be, since they can be implemented by multiple classes, so they allow us to have a form of multiple inheritance which is normally not allowed in Java.
okay.
So through this we can achieve 100% abstraction also through interface.
Yeah. Okay. But the questions will remain same. In case of multiple inheritance, you can multiple inheritance means a class cannot inherit multiple other classes, but in case of interface, multiple interfaces can be implemented by a class. Okay. But
problem with interface and abstract classes is we cannot instantiate.
Okay, let me give you one example where there will be a different example. You will understand that why there is a very important role of interface. Let me show you. Think of a scenario. Okay, you have an account in State Bank. You have your friend has an account in say SBI. SBI and HDFC. So you have an account in SBI. Your friend has an account in HDFC. And you are trying to, when you are trying to book a ticket for railway reservation. Okay. So from railway reservation system, if you are going to book a ticket, you are going to pay IRCTC from your account. In another context, for some reason, you have to transfer some money to your friend's account. Okay. So your State Bank will communicate with IRCTC as well as with other banks like HDFC. Okay. So how these transactions will be performed? Nowadays the things are more advanced. We are not talking about web service and microservice, these things. Think in the very primitive way. I'm giving you an example. Say it's an service we are in 2005-6. Okay, so we are 15 years back. So when web services are not popular and the things are not well defined, so at that time, how these two systems will interact? Even till date, we are using for this type of application, we are not using RMI, but within a system like if we consider that we have to implement different modules of a banking system, then how these two modules will interact? In most of the cases, there will be some other technique. Okay. So here, think that we are using RMI. So how it will work? So you have a savings account class. So you are a customer. So if you are a customer, then obviously for you, for your savings account, there is an object of this savings account class. Okay. Now this class contains lots of methods, like withdrawal by cash, withdrawal by check, withdrawal by some other mode. Now there are some methods like deposit in different mode. So for every type of transaction there will be a method. Now the scenario is, when I'm considering that all of this system are using Java, and for their interaction they are using RMI. Okay. So when you have issued a check to your friend, he has deposited it to his home bank. Now when it will be cleared, then from that bank, like you have an account in SBI and your friend has an account in HDFC, this is our consideration. So from HDFC bank there will be a request to SBI to clear this check. So I am considering that withdraw by check, this method will be called by HDFC to your bank, mentioning the amount, account number and many more details. So now this amount will be deducted from your account. Okay. How HDFC will be able to call this method? What do you think? That how it will be able to call this method? So we know that if we get an object, then using this object reference we can call a method. So from HDFC, if we get an object of your account, then using that method we can call. Okay. So then the transaction will be performed. Now if you want to buy or book a ticket from IRCTC, again the IRCTC server should get your object reference so that it can call the method. Now the thing is, so you have an account in one bank, different types of different banks, different online transaction portals, they can get access to your object. So when they will get access to your object, then a set of methods needs to be defined as public, otherwise they can't be called. Okay. So if you define a set of method as public, now everyone will get access to that set of method which are public. Still now, is there any doubt? A public method can be called from a remote machine also. It is accessible from anywhere. Okay. So a list of methods which you have defined as public in your bank, in your class definition, those methods are accessible. Now think from security perspective. HDFC or other banks will be able to get the methods, access the methods which are public. Now whether IRCTC or any payment gateway will be able to access all the methods, like withdraw by check. Another bank can call this method, but IRCTC or Paytm, whether they can call this method, that withdraw by check, but the method is public, so everyone is able to access it. Whether it's clear to you? Is there any confusion?
Sir, that Paytm part, can you please say once more? That part was not clear.
Okay. Say, if you define a class savings account, when you are implementing the software for SBI, in savings account class, you have lots of methods: withdraw by check, withdraw by cash, withdraw from ATM. So lots of methods are there. Now another bank can call withdraw by check, but withdraw by cash, this method is accessible within the bank. If you have an account in SBI, you can call this method. You can withdraw that amount from using as cash. Okay, now just by filling your deposit withdrawal form. But if you want to access it from other bank means from HDFC. From HDFC, they will not be able to call this method withdraw cash. Okay, but from other bank, withdraw by check can be called, because you can issue a check to your friend. He or she is depositing it to another bank where he or she has an account. Now from that account, this method can be called. Okay, so this method can be called from other bank. Now this method is not accessible by Paytm. Can you do some transaction that withdraw by check through Paytm? So Paytm can perform different type of transaction. Now if we define this savings class method, then if we create a set of methods as public, then all the methods are accessible from other banks as well as these types of organizations. But for security reason, we should not give this type of access to everyone. So what we can do? So here the solution is we can use interface. Okay, we can use interface. The problem cannot be solved using abstract class also. Okay, so here we have to use some interface. So what we can do, just I'm giving you one example, that say this is okay, we have defined this class, test class. Now we have some method print, say we have some more method, method 1, m1. I'm just say I have this number of methods. Okay, so m1, m2, m3, so just we have the 6 methods. Okay. Let me just change these values. So we have 6 and 7 methods print along with this 6 additional methods. Now if some of them are public, then only the public methods are accessible from anywhere. Okay, now this is an application which is running in SBI. Now I want to give method access to method 2 for IRCTC as well as HDFC. I want to give access to this method to IRCTC only. It will not be accessible by HDFC. This method will be accessible by HDFC and Paytm. How can you control that HDFC will get access to method 2, then method 4? Paytm will get access to only method 4. IRCTC will get access to method 2 and 3. Can you control it using abstract class level hierarchy? Hello. I connected?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you control it using class level hierarchy and the concepts like abstract class? This controlling is impossible. Now what we can do, let us create an interface. So I am going to create an interface. So the name of this interface, we have, this is an SBI server. So from this SBI server there is an agreement with HDFC. So according to this agreement, we have decided that HDFC will get access to method 2 and method 4. Okay, so method 2 and method 4. So I'm going to declare this here. Method 2 and method 4, these two methods are being declared in this interface. Okay, I'm just going to rename it to understand. So refactor, rename HDFC interface. Oh. So it's a HDFC interface. Similarly, I'm going to define another interface. Say it's IRCTC interface. Okay, and another interface. Okay, just another interface. It's a Paytm. Now, according to our agreement, we have decided that IRCTC will get access to method 2 and 3. So, in IRCTC interface, I will write method 2 and method 3. Okay. From Paytm interface, which methods are accessible by Paytm? So, Paytm can access only method 4. So, Paytm interface will contain only method 4. So, if we define 3 different interfaces, okay, we have 3 different interfaces. These interfaces are now these interfaces will be implemented by this class. So, I am going to implement HDFC interface, then IRCTC interface, okay, and which one? Paytm. So we have defined a class like savings account. In our case, it's test class. Test class contains lots of methods. So if I create an object of this test class, and if I share this object with other servers, then they will get access to all the methods which are public. But I want to restrict access according to the request. So if the request is being received by HDFC, if the request is being received from IRCTC or Paytm, accordingly I will assign the access. I will grant access permission. So that can be done using this interface. So now, when this server will receive a request from HDFC, so it will check the request header file and many more things. Now, instead of using this reference, say it's a HDFC reference, so H, if I create an object of this test class, I'm creating an object of test class, but instead of receiving it using the object reference, now I am using interface reference. So if I use interface reference, then let us check from H reference we can access only method 2 and 4. not all other methods. So if the server receives a request from HDFC Bank, then it will create an object of the class. It will refer this object using interface reference, which interface is designed for HDFC. Now it will send this interface reference. So using that interface reference, all the methods are not accessible. Only method 2 and 4 are accessible. Similarly, for the same class object, if we create, if the request is being received from IRCTC and I want to access the method from IRCTC, method 2 and 3 are accessible. Okay. Similarly, if it's a Paytm interface, then only method 4 is accessible. So in that way, we can provide security. So only class level or hierarchy doesn't ensure the security in every aspect. Okay, just 1 minute, please. Hello. তুমি একটু আমাকে 12টার দিকে কল করতে পারবে? আমি একটু মিটিং এর মধ্যে আছি। So whether the scenario is clear, in reality we are not implementing it nowadays using banking system. We are using web services, but just to make to understand that how the systems are working. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to show you one sample code that if we write, you have written some program in C probably in computer network. Now I'm just going to show you. So this is a simple interface. I'm going to define a calculator. So calculator interface, this is a calculator interface. Now this is a class where we are implementing those methods. So it is implementing calculator interface. So the methods are defined here. Okay. So we have a class, we have an interface. Now this is a server where this application is running. Okay. So here we are considering that there is a Java server. In that server, this calculator will be provided as a service. Okay. So using RMI, we are publishing it, and the name of this service is cal, which is running on 5000 port. In computer network, you have written socket program, so you know that how it is being published on a port number. Okay. So this is a calculator service which is being published on my system on 5000 port. Okay. Now from client side, if we want to call this service, so here we can call the service in this way. So we can call the service which is running there. Now from here we can call the method. So it's a remote method invocation. That means we are getting object reference, and using that object reference we can call a method which will be executed in server. So if this is a client program, in this client program we are receiving it. So the service which is running on this URL, this service, we are going to establish a connection with that service. This service will return a calculator interface instead of calculator class object. It will return the interface. Now after getting this interface reference, now we can call the methods which are declared in that interface. Okay, so this is the way how a client server will communicate. Okay. So one service is being published in server side. Now from client machine we are going to call this method. Okay. So if I want to run this program, I can just give you one reference. Okay. One thing is I have written this code earlier at if you are using Java 15 or 16, the comments, all the comments will not run. So this is the way. If you are using some older version of Java, then you can test this program. Okay, so first we have to compile the code using RMI compiler. Then you have to register it. So we are registering 5000 port for this. After registering it, so the steps, I have written the steps in detail here, so you can just test it that how two systems will communicate. Now this is the server where we are writing the, in this server we are going to publish the service, and from client machine we are going to execute it. Okay, so just to show you, yeah, the last day I have tested it, but I have forgot the comments. Let me check. So I want to compile this. I have compiled the classes. So after compilation, the next step is you have to compile this class which has been published as a service. Okay, so here RMIC let me RMI registry have to run another command prompt. Here I have to run Java my server and another interface. So okay, let me show you step by step. So here we are running RMI registry, then we have executed Java my server, and here we are going to call my client. Okay, so this is the way how it works. So just if you are using latest version of JDK, just skip this line. This one is not needed. RMIC compiler has been removed in Java 16. But I'm using the IBM JDK. So in IBM JDK, RMIC has been removed. But I have not checked the other GRE environment. Okay. So this is the way how they're working. So we are registering the service. So 5000 port is being registered. Then we are running the server application, and finally from client application we are calling the method. Now let us check that this is the client application. So we don't have this definition, method definition here. So in client side we are not going to share the logic of the calculator class file. Okay, so the class file will remain in server side. From client machine we will get calculator interface only. The methods which are declared in that interface, only those methods are accessible. Now using this calculator interface reference, we can call the methods which will be executed. So when we are calling this method from client application, then this method is being actually executed in the server side. So here we have sent 34 and 4. So the summation is 38. So client is sending this request to the server. Server is executing that program, and finally the result is being returned. After receiving the result, client machine, it will be shown. The result will be shown or processed according to your logic you have written here. So this is the way how client server communicates. So basically in most of the distributed application, if it's Java based, then RMI is still that used for internal communication. Okay. Now any confusion here? Hello?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, just I'm sharing the link. If you want to test it, you can test it here. Okay. Just sharing.
So also the enterprise Eclipse has downloaded.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So you can share your screen now. Unzip it. Okay. Then run Eclipse exe. Close the welcome page. Go to help. Eclipse Marketplace. You have to install the plugin from Eclipse Marketplace. okay, you may write Google Cloud, or if just you can write Amazon search. So install this AWS toolkit. Confirm. It will take some time. Accept this terms and conditions. Just write to the installing software the progress bar where it is showing the bottom. Just expand it. Yeah. Okay, let it be installed. So when it will be installed, after that you will get this provision to create AWS project based on your requirement. Hope this package will be installed properly. Okay, restart. Just you can cancel this one because you don't have AWS EN. Okay, now go to file and create a new project. Here you will get the option, go to other. You will get the option of AWS. Scroll down a little bit. Now you may choose anyone and accordingly you may decide. Just AWS Java project. These Lambda functions are basically function as a service. Do you want to choose any SDK? If you want to choose any SDK, then you can select it from here. Otherwise, just finish. Later on, you may test. Okay, let it be installed because it will take approximately 2 minutes. Because first time it is being installed, lots of jar files will be downloaded. Okay, so just give me 2 minutes. I'm returning within 2 minutes. In the meanwhile, it will be installed. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, এটা তো ইনস্টল হতে টাইম নেবে মনে হচ্ছে। আমি স্ক্রিনটা একটু শেয়ার করছি।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, আমি এটা পাই।
এটা ইনস্টল হয়ে গেলে তোমরা এইভাবেই করতে পারবে। Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Let me create a new project. I'm just choosing this one, AWS Java project. Okay, just I'm finishing it. It's taking a long time. Okay, if your installation is complete, please inform. Shatudru.
No, sir, it's still going on.
Okay. When it will be completed, then please inform, because I don't know whether it will be completed. Probably your installation will be completed before my one. Basically, it is downloading lots of jar files and dependent libraries for configuring the local SDK. So you can simulate it on your local machine, and if you can provide AWS credential, if you have an account, then if you can provide AWS credential, then you can deploy this application in Amazon directly. So this is the test project which has been created. Okay. Now here you can write your program. So this jar files for AWS SDK is ready, so you can use the things, you can write some logic in your program to deploy it in Amazon. Okay. Just few things I want to show you from here. I'm going to open this perspective, AWS management. I can't show you anything because I don't have credential right now. My account has been blocked 2 years back. So this is the list. So if you can provide your AWS credential, so at the time of installation they have asked for your AWS key and secret key. So when you will be able to provide this AWS keys, then in this page you will get list of instances. So if you are running any list of any virtual machine, that list will be visible here. So that list will be shown here. So what are the attributes? We have discussed in theory that one virtual machine means it's a virtual machine instance. So one ID will be assigned to it. For each and every virtual machine there will be an unique instance ID. Then the name which you have given during launching the virtual machine, that instance name attribute is this. Then public DNS name. So a public domain name will be assigned by Amazon. Okay, you are not getting any public IP directly, but a different kind of naming convention is being followed in Amazon. So a public domain name will be given to you. So using that public domain name, you can access it. Now, the public IP address, if you want to get access to public IP for your virtual machine, you can check it from AWS login. So from web portal, you can get the IP address by which you can log into that virtual machine. So the IP address will not be visible here, but the IP address is accessible from your web portal. My God. হ্যালো, হ্যাঁ আমি ডিসকানেক্টেড হয়ে গেছি, আমি মোবাইল থেকে কানেক্ট করছি। হ্যালো, হ্যালো, শোনা যাচ্ছে? হ্যাঁ, ইন্টারনেট চলে গেছিল। ওকে, let me share.
Sir, install AWS packages.
Okay, then share your screen. Okay, create. So here you can
Yes, sir.
so here you can create any other application. So using this, so your project is ready to run, so you can write your code and you can deploy. So basically, okay, go to the right corner of the window in Eclipse, just left to that, just left of Java EE. Open perspective. No, the next one, open perspective, right one. Yeah, click here. Okay, select AWS management. So here you will get EC2 instances. If you click on EC2 instance tab, so the public domain name image ID. Image ID is the machine image ID, Amazon machine image, based on which you have instantiated this virtual machine. So it's the operating system image. It contains the detailed configuration, like how much memory and CPU you have allocated during this instantiation. Okay, then root device information. The next ID is root device. So this root device information is in Linux. You are familiar with Linux environment, so the concept is same for root device. Then state will show you the status, basically whether it's running, whether it's shut it down or shutting down. So this type of state of the virtual machine will be shown here under this attribute. Then type of virtual machine, then availability zone. Expand this availability means just increase the width of this column. You have to increase the width of the column.
कृष्णा राइट कॉलम के राइट पे क्लिक करके ड्रैग कर थोड़ा.
Yeah. No, just move your cursor between. Yeah. So availability zone. You can check that how many availability zones are there. So like one example is US East, US West. So these are the availability zone where the data centers are located, and your virtual machine will be launched obviously one of the availability zones. So during deployment or instantiation of the virtual machine, you can specify that under which availability zone it will be executed. Okay, you are going to deploy the virtual machine. So the availability zone selection is required because in different country the policies are different. Okay, like we have probably mentioned earlier that if you install a virtual machine or any software, if you are using US server, then US military has full access to your system. But there are different countries where if you deploy any virtual machine, even if you store any data related to your business, no one will be able to get access. Okay, so based on the policy requirement, you have to analyze it, and accordingly you will decide that under which availability zone you will deploy your virtual machine. So during deployment you will get this option that under which availability zone you want to deploy it. Then the key pair will show you the name. Okay, so one public key and another secret key, a key pair is being generated using asymmetric key cryptography. Okay, so you know what is asymmetric key cryptography. So here the key pair which you have generated, that name will be shown here under this key pair attribute. Then launch time. If you create any security group to instantiate multiple virtual machine under same security group, then that group name, and if you add some tag or some information for your virtual machine, then during deployment you can set this tag. So these informations are visible here. Now, so these are the attributes which are required. You have to understand that when we are deploying a virtual machine, so these are the attributes. Now go to this EC2 AMI, Amazon Machine Image, the next tab. Okay, so AMI ID, manifest, then state, owner and tag. You will not be able to get the virtual machines which are being owned by some other person. Like you have an account, your friend has an account here. So you will not be able to get any information about the machine images of your friend. But Amazon provides some templates. So this template machine images will be enlisted here. So during deployment, you can choose this. So you will get a list of machine images here. Okay, now if you want to create any instance, we don't have the provision right now, so here the list will be shown. You can just right click on it and you will get option to create a new instance, but as the list is empty, that's why the options are not visible here. Okay, the next one is EC2 elastic block storage. This block storage is basically the we use two different terms. One is volume and another one is snapshot. Okay. Both of these things are listed here. So AWS snapshot means when you are running a virtual machine. Okay, just think that when you are using your Windows environment in your laptop, can you create any checkpoint so that later on if you face any problem you can reset your machine up to a specific checkpoint you have configured earlier? So there is a
So we
provision.
can create system images.
Yeah, system image is there, but other than system image, can you create checkpoint? Have you created at any time? If I think that at this moment my system is working properly, I can create a checkpoint. So later on I can restore my machine at this checkpoint. So later on whatever I have done, those things will be removed. Okay, in terms of system. Okay, if you have installed something later on, those things will be, when you will recover your system to previous checkpoint, those things will not be available. So during checkpoint creation, whatever software was there, those softwares will be available. So similarly, if you are running a virtual machine in Amazon, then you can create some snapshot of the VM. If you create any snapshot, that means you are creating a backup copy. Okay, so if you create this backup copy, then from this snapshot you can launch some other virtual machines also. Okay, so basically Amazon elastic block store snapshot will provide you a facility to back up your data. Okay, so it will be basically to back up your EBS volume, and the backup will be kept in S3. Okay, so when you are creating a block store, then after creating any snapshot, the snapshot will be stored in Amazon S3. So S3 is you know that it's a simple storage service, so it will be stored in Amazon S3. Okay, so if you are using some system which is where you are dealing with very sensitive data, or each and every changes needs to be tracked very frequently, you are not willing to lose any data, then at that time you have to design some schedule or scheduler by which you can take the snapshot very frequently. So point to point time you have to create some snapshot. So it's a basically incremental backup. So what happens that if you create a snapshot at this moment, then the backup copy is being created. Later on, if you create another snapshot, instead of copying the whole thing, it will just monitor the changes. So only the in incremental way, the additional changes will be tracked. Okay, so it's a very important, because otherwise you have an operating system in every moment, in every 2 minutes or 5 minutes you are taking a snapshot. So 2 GB, 3 GB data is being backed up. So it's not a good idea. So better is you can create snapshots very frequently, but the management of the snapshot is incremental. So if you have 2 GB of data, so it will be backed up in S3. Now after this backup, after 5 minutes, if you again create another snapshot, only the additional changes with your previous backup, that will be stored in new snapshot. Okay, so it will avoid duplicacy of the data. So our data is not being duplicated in backup. So in every snapshot, only the changes are being monitored and managed. Okay, then so volume is basically the ID. It will be your memory location, like the volumes you have created during launching the virtual machine, and for every volume you can create multiple snapshot. So it's a backup of that volume. So the snapshot is being stored in Amazon S3. So that's all. And in S3 EC2 security group, by default, if you don't configure it, then it will be default security group where all the ports will be blocked. So you have to open the ports according to your requirement. So if you know, or if you have little bit idea about the port management and security in network, then you can manage it here. So you can create some security group. You may have multiple security group. You may decide that these are the subset of virtual machines which will be launched under security group 1 or under security group 2. In that way you can configure it. Okay, now to check some code, by default in Java project template, dummy code is not being created. Just in the meanwhile, can you create a new project? Go to file. Okay, create another project. Example. Okay, go to AWS. No, not just it here. Just for example, if you create a Java Lambda project, Lambda Java project, or okay, can you go back and create another one? Or just okay, give some name and run it. It's a function as a service. If you create Lambda project, it's a function as a service. Give some name. Let it be updated. Just wait for some time until sources have been downloaded properly. basically this one is the function handler. So here you can publish it. So if you deploy this application, it will be published as service. So from remote machine you can call this. Okay, just scroll down little bit. So this handle request method will track the S3 event. Can you scroll down little bit? So this is a sample code by which you can access S3 object. Okay. So this is the way how you can work with AWS. You can create different types of project and you can deploy it in Amazon. So using Eclipse, you can deploy it directly in Amazon. Just you must configure your system with your AWS key files. Okay, then
Sir has left the
uh,
meeting, I think, because of network issues again.
I have joined again. Okay, I have joined again. There was some problem. Okay, so I think you will be able to test some code on your local machine. Here, if you run this project, try to run it. Okay, just no. Okay, run it. Failure. Okay. Local simulation environment has not been created. Okay, click on OK. Then go to run again and run as. No, it will not run. We have to configure the local environment. Okay, it will take some time, so on the next day we can discuss that how to configure your AWS local environment so that you can deploy and test it. Okay, in the meantime, can you install another tool so that on the next day we can test some code? Go to help, go to marketplace, Eclipse marketplace, write Google. Google search engine. Okay, cloud tool. Install it. Okay, so okay, it's not complete yet. So okay, it will take some time to configure the environment. So I will suggest you that you can install these two plugins, Google plugin and Amazon plugin. Using Google plugin, if you activate your account, payment is not required for developing and deploying. What is the name? In Google Cloud environment, just a minute. For testing purpose, if you can activate your Google Cloud account, uh, if you don't have activated it earlier, so you can access App Engine and you can deploy your App Engine application in cloud environment. Okay, after installing it, you will get permission to create a new Google App Engine platform, and using that App Engine platform you can develop and deploy your application in Google server. Shatudru, for installing Google Cloud environment it will take a long time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we may close this session, but I will suggest you that you can install these two plugins so that from the next day we can write some code and we can try to deploy it on our local machine. We will not be able to deploy it in Amazon environment, but we can develop and deploy it in local machine. Okay.
Okay, sir, I'm installing.
Okay, then we can close this for today. আচ্ছা, এখানে অনুভব আছো?
Yes, sir.
আমি দেখছি, দাঁড়াও আমি একটা ঠিক আছে, তোমাদের এক্সামের ব্যাপারে আমি তোমাদের সাথে এখানে কথা বলে নিচ্ছি, মানে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে কথা বলে নিচ্ছি।
Okay, sir.
ঠিক আছে, ওকে, ঠিক আছে, রাখছি তাহলে আজকে।
Thank you, sir.
ওকে, বাই।
Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you.